Everyone. I hope that you can hear me. In the group chat window on the right side of the screen, if you would enter a comment in that chat window so that I know my voice is broadcasting all over the world, I would appreciate it. Hello, welcome to our Hangout. We're going to take a few minutes and let everyone join in. We've got some viewers online. If you would enter your name and where you're from in our chat window, that would be great. We're excited that you can join us today. We're in Houston, Texas, but we have users from all around the world, and we're excited that you're joining us today. So we're going to let people join in here. We'll wait just a few minutes and get our viewers live, and then we'll get started. Let me tell you a little bit about myself as we're getting started here today. I'm Sarah McNeil. I'm a faculty member in the College of Education at the University of Houston in Houston, Texas. And a whole team of folks have created this MOOC. They are members of our LIGHT Lab, the Laboratory for Innovative Technology in Education. Some of them are faculty members, some of them are graduate students, doctoral students in our Learning Design and Technology program. So if you're just joining us now, if you would put your name and your country in the chat window on the right, that would be great. It takes a little while to get everybody in, so I'm sorry for the brief delay. Today we're going to talk about a collaboration tool. Collaboration is the focus of our second week of this MOOC, and we're going to talk about a piece of software called RealtimeBoard. I'm going to show you some of the features, and I hope that you'll try it out. It's got some appealing ones to use in the classroom and some great tools to use with your students and different learners. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. That's great. You can also introduce yourself in the chat window in our main Google Hangout page too. Okay, since we are on a time frame here, I'm going to go ahead and start a little bit about RealtimeBoard. And we're getting a little better in Google Hangouts. It's becoming a little more intuitive for us. We've been using it for now a couple months and not with such a large audience, but I hope you'll bear with us. I'm going to do a little screencasting here, and I'm going to share a presentation on RealtimeBoard. So this presentation was created by RealtimeBoard. I did not create it, but it's a good one to get you started. So I thought we would look at a few of the features of RealtimeBoard, and then we would look at how to get started. Please remember that all of the tools that we're showing in our MOOC are free or have free versions. Some of them have premium or pro versions, but most of them have a lot of features in the free tool part that you'll be able to use and not really need a pro version. The tool that we're going to use today, though, RealtimeBoard, has a premium version that's free for teachers. So we'll get to that in just a little while, and I'll share with you how to sign up for that. So let's talk a little bit about what RealtimeBoard is and how you can get started. Many of you have RealtimeBoard prototypes in your classroom called whiteboards. Whiteboards are boards that you can put Post-it notes on, that you can draw on. They look a lot like this. RealtimeBoard is a whiteboard, but it's an online whiteboard, and it is not limited in size. You can have an unlimited amount of whiteboard space when you create a whiteboard. One of the best features. So when you think about RealtimeBoard for education, there are a lot of uses, especially for students in your classroom. You can draw on RealtimeBoard with a marker, just like you would a whiteboard, to explain things or to show problems. You can have creative projects on RealtimeBoard because it supports videos and pictures and text. It's also a good place to have group discussions, to have collaborative work on presentations, to do some brainstorming, and of course, businesses especially use RealtimeBoard for consulting and research. If you are a teacher in a public education institution, not private, but public, you can ask for a free education license from RealtimeBoard. Unlike the free versions that limit you to 3 boards, the pro version that you can get if you're a teacher in a public education institution has no limitations and up to 3 gigabytes of storage space. So you might want to think about that if you teach in public schools. More than 2,500 education institutions from over 50 countries use RealtimeBoard. You can see the numbers here for the request from educational institutions, and 5% of the accounts are education ones. Top 5 countries, and then the largest communities are pretty close between UK and the US. So we'll look at some ideas for RealtimeBoard. We have some examples here to look at. There are templates available in RealtimeBoard. You can get a blank template, a mind map template, a plan that you can use for projects, a story map, or a weekly planner. Generally, I start with a blank canvas, but if I were doing a mind map activity with students, I would certainly use that template. So let's look at some cases of educators who have used RealtimeBoard. This example says that you can have interactive tests or exams or homework, and you can see on this, it's an example of a formula and a concept matching so that students could move those around. In the second example here, this person is using RealtimeBoard to look at English idioms. So you can see the pictures that are there in the text, and then the little yellow things here, you can see at the bottom of each of those are comments. So those are student comments. You can see that this particular example starts with an explanation of the idiom at the top, and then a question from the teacher, and then answers from the students. And then in the comments part, the student corrects the mistakes in that. And the comment can point to any of these student answers. Probably the best known use for RealtimeBoard is project management. So the sticky notes that you can put on the board indicate a step in the process. So students can take the ideas and rearrange them. And in this particular project, the participants are learning how to use RealtimeBoard to prioritize the things that they need to be done. So it's a time management case study. In this explanation in case 4, it's talking about research work, and a time tracker app was the result of this collaboration. So the students were designing this app, and they discussed all the parts of it, from the logo all the way to the prototype of the interface on the RealtimeBoard. In case 5, students worked in pairs to write an English lesson about Easter, and you can see some of the things working here. There's text, there's pictures. You can even draw arrows to connect to things that are on the board. Here's a psychology course, and so this particular teacher uses RealtimeBoard to make a calendar of the course so that students know what they're working on and when the assignments are due. You can see the course schedule, and then how it's divided, and then goes across left to right. In case 7, this particular person at the University of Dayton is using RealtimeBoard to teach engineering. So he can use the pen and different colors to write formulas and show things during class. You can see how this works. An overview of the lesson, the theories and tasks, and then all the different formulas that are involved in that. And then this case is about teaching English with TV. And this person uses his board to teach English lessons using the Breaking Bad TV series. You can see how the drawings between these photographs really help you do almost a mind map type of presentation. So here are some benefits of using RealtimeBoard in education. The board has no end. It can be as big as you want it to be. You can zoom in and out. People who are collaborating on the board can be in any place as long as they have an internet connection. It's really, really easy to write to create content on the real-time board. And probably the coolest feature is that it can integrate with your Google Drive. So let's close this for just a minute and look at a presentation about getting started. And then we'll visit RealtimeBoard and actually try some of these things. Now this presentation, I'm going to skip around just a little bit because we're going to look at just the basic features. So the first step when you log on to RealtimeBoard is to create your first board. Remember that when we started, I said that with a free account, you can create up to 3 boards. But if you're a teacher in a public institution, you can register for a pro account and have unlimited boards. So when you start, you'll create a board and you can choose a different template here. And you see this screen shows you the boards that you've started and then when those boards were updated. You can also choose your board's privacy. So you can have a public board where anyone could view your board if they have the URL link. And then a private board would be one for people who have RealtimeBoard accounts and are specifically invited. So you'll start by choosing a template, or you can start from scratch. And then the dashboard that comes up first is how you manage your boards. There's also a boards tab up here at the top of your dashboard, and you can see all of your boards here that are listed. There are some account settings that you need to pay attention to, and you see up here you can pull that drop-down menu down next to where your name would be and look at account settings. And this is where you can integrate your Facebook account, your Google Drive account, and your Gmail account. You can also, in your account settings, share your interest and how you'd like to be notified here too, and you can change those at any time. So let's look at some basic tools. When you start your RealtimeBoard, this is the interface. Up on the top left, that takes you back to the home screen. The next one is accessing the boards that you've created. You can invite people to view or edit your board. And then your library contains your saved files, your Google Drive documents, and some really cool features in the icon finder that are already built into your library. This is where you would share your screen, have a chat, or have a video chat. And some of these things are only available to pro users. So you'll want to make sure you get a pro account if you're interested in using those features. The tools are at the bottom of your screen down here. This is the zoom in and out. The hand moves the board around and the arrow points to things on your board. And if you want to delete it, you can highlight it and then push your delete key on your computer. This is a pen tool here. You can choose colors to write with. You can create shapes here. The text tool allows you to type on the screen, post a note, like a post-it note on your screen and put text on it, and write a comment. And then this part right here creates links between objects, like arrows between objects. The plus part over here on the right of your toolbar lets you add files to your library, so you could add pictures and videos that way. That's the basic feature. The zoom in and zoom out feature that you see down here allows you to find things on your board, because if you keep adding to that board forever and ever, it's going to get pretty busy and you'll want to be able to jump around on it. There is a hand tool here and an arrow tool, and that lets you move things around on your screen. The brush tool is pretty cool because if you like to draw, then drawing on the screen is really an interesting and unique experience. The Shapes tool lets you set the style of your shape and also the color. And then you can also, there's also options where you can draw lines and arrows, and you can stack things, bring them forward or backward, much like the shapes in Word or PowerPoint. The text block tool is also good if you're organizing things, and you can set the font size and color and also the background. I think my favorite tool is the Post-it notes, because you can change the color and the size of your Post-it note, and you can also drag it smaller and bigger. You can put text on those Post-it notes too. So here's a picture of a real-time board, and you can see the Post-it notes and you can see the comments. So the comments are small. They look like a little comic strip bubble, but when you click on it, then they expand, and you can comment, and then someone else can write or add a comment to their comment, to your comment. So you can see, for example, in this screen that there's 3 comments, and people have been replying to each other. You can also link things together, and that uses the link tool. You can add files. You can upload a variety of files, from image files like JPEGs or GIFs. You can upload PDFs, doc files, Excel files, PowerPoint files, and open Office files. You can add pictures and videos from YouTube and Vimeo, and you can capture a web page with the Capture Web Page tool. So I think you're beginning to see how versatile this tool is. There's some shortcuts here if you like to take a fast way to get to some of those tools. So we're going to stop there, and I'm going to close this and share with you a live real-time board. One of our doctoral students, Arthur Beltran, you can see him up here at the top, is live with us, and I thought it would be interesting to actually see how Arthur and I can build a board together. So I'm going to go over here to the chat window, and you can see that Dr. Gronseth, Susie, who's doing the real-time board, tomorrow was practicing chatting with us earlier. And so I'm going to say, Arthur, let's create an idea together. I'm going to post that. And then I'm going to use one of these tools down here, and I'm going to say, let's look at a new logo for the Light Lab. I'm going to draw my idea here on the board. You can see, because we're the Light Lab, I'm thinking that maybe a light bulb would be an interesting thing to do. And I'm going to start a comment here and type. And we'll add that comment. And we'll see if Arthur can contribute to our board. Now, while we're waiting on Arthur, let me demo a couple of these other tools for you. Also, if you have questions about RealtimeBoard, there is a group chat in our Hangout. And if you're viewing us live, you can enter a chat message down there. I hope you can see that. You should be able to see chat in your Hangout. But if you don't, you know what? You can also ask a question on our main Google Hangout page. All right, I'm going to wait for a couple questions. Just 1 second. Okay. Now let me demo just a little bit here about using the type tool. So I'm going to select the type tool. I'm going to click on the screen. Uh-oh, I see Arthur is writing light. And let's make some text that says what light stands for. Laboratory for Innovative Technology in Education. And of course, I always spell education wrong. Let's make that a little bit bigger, and let's make it red. Red is the University of Houston color. So you can still see, so Arthur has added the words, maybe add the text below. Let me move that a little bit over here. Yep. And so I think you can kind of see, yep, I think you can see how this might be useful when you're collaborating with others, because you could also, of course, we're using audio to communicate, but we could use audio for that too. So I haven't been successful in seeing any chat comments. I am hoping that no one has questions about RealtimeBoard, but we can continue this discussion in our Hangout discussion on Coursera too. And there's a shape. Arthur's coloring in our light bulb. So you can see Arthur here, if you can just barely see him. And then you can see Arthur up here in the top too. So let me stop screen sharing for a minute and go back to our main page. I want to thank you especially for coming to our Hangout today, and also for being such good students in our MOOC. We have really had a great time reading your comments and your discussion and your post, And we're right in the middle of our first 3 weeks. So let's recap for just a second where we are, and I'll share with you a little bit about where we're going before we end today. Last week, we talked about communication tools, and this week, we're talking about collaboration tools. And next week, we're going to talk about creativity tools. It's really exciting to be able to share these ideas with you and also to learn your ideas about using these exciting tools in your classroom. After we spend these first 3 weeks talking about communication, collaboration, and creativity tools, you're going to select a tool to use in your classroom. And you're going to do a mini action research project and try out, hopefully, one of these tools in your classroom and let us know how it turned out. So we'll be providing more information about that next week, but that's what we'll do in week 4. And then in week 5, you're going to do some peer assessment on each other's mini action research project. And we're going to talk about how to continue your learning beyond the MOOC by developing a personal learning plan. So again, thank you so much for being excellent students and participants. And we are thrilled to have you join us in this journey of discovery. Bye-bye from Houston, Texas. If you want to tune in again, Dr. Gronseth, Susie Gronseth, is doing another Hangout tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. Thanks again, and bye-bye.